You're cold.
Yeah.
Happy, but okay.
My concert of last night. So I slept in the evening. So now it's just like the air conditioning.
I know. Once we're coming out of like a new, from a previous season to a new one, feels so different.
I like messed up. I don't know. I'm when I get my car to go home. My gosh.
Yeah.
But you know, fan on cold ones, and my window open.
Okay, let's continue. Before I start with flow rate and grip rate, there are 4 or 5 questions on your final exam that pertains to insulin calculation. And this always shows up on the PTCE as well. So I want to do a quick review, not take a whole hour on it, okay, on the insulin calculation. Okay, quick check. What's the, how do you calculate insulin? What's a conversion factor? It will always be 100 units is
1 ml.
1 ml. And know that 1 ml is the same as
1 cc.
1 cc. Okay, let's do some practice. If the prescription is 25 units, PID, how much do you have to give the patient? In ml. units. Units is abbreviated as capital U. 0.75. Any more answers? What's your answer?
0.75.
Right, said 0.75 ml. What's your per day? Jonathan said 0.75 ml. Any other answers? Okay, let's do this. Well, freshmen, since you haven't done this, okay, a simple way to do it is ratio proportion, real fast. How do you do that? 100 units will be equivalent to 1 ml, right? As to, what were you given? 25 units, right there, real fast. X ml. Cross multiply 25 divided by 100 is 0.25 ml. But it doesn't end there, there's an additional instruction, which is TID. So what do you do here?
Multiply by 3.
Very good. That's why Jonathan and Sarai's answer was 0.75. Real quick, right? Okay. Let's do one more. Hint, wait. I'm holding the final exam.
Oh. Hold on.
The questions? Even if you're not given, it's going to be 100 units per ml, even if it's not stated in the problem. Let's see if you can calculate this. A patient uses 23 units daily of a 3 ml Humalog. Remember, what's Humalog? Next, 75/25. 10. which has a concentration of 100 units per ml. You already know that, even if it's not given. The question now will be different. How many days will this pen last? So what's her question? Day supply. Let's see, we can do this. The prescription is what? 23 units. There's going to be 100 units in an ml for this one. So, it can be ratio proportion again. Hi, this will be
0.33 ml.
what do I do next? The pen is 3 ml, correct? Remember that pen? 3 ml inside. So what do you do? What's the next step?
Divide the
What's the process for day supply? The total quantity, which is 3 ml, divided by what you got here, 0.23 ml. And that should give you 13. Good job. So Wes, yes, this is the math that you're going to use every day, as long as you practice pharmacy. Or maybe you decide not to practice pharmacy anymore, but you're a mom or a dad. Check your kids' medication or a caregiver. What did you say?
I don't want to work.
You know, I have friends whose wish was to be a housewife. When I was younger, I couldn't believe that that's their dream. I was like, because I was so career oriented. Dream of becoming a housewife? I don't get it. Yeah. But it must be nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Gina and I were talking during break today. I said, you know what? There's a couple of you who keep forgetting that L is 50 and use the D for 50. Who was that? Okay. Gina said, Miss L, you didn't mention this time one thing that helps her remember. Miss L is on her way to 50. That's how she remembered it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You don't look good.
Oh, I thought, oh my goodness, like finally I can remember something.
Oh.
Like that you're over there. Yes, I have 4 more years. Not tomorrow. Not this year. Anyway, that's my next milestone. I'm turning 50 in 4 years. So if you want to remember Roman numerals, Miss L is on her way to 50. Thanks, Gina, for reminding me that. Okay, one more, last one. Then we proceed to flow rate and drip rate. I like this one. This one's a patient is to use 90 units of insulin once daily. The insulin has a concentration of 300 units per ml. This one is a different given, okay? It is available in 10 ml vials. Let me repeat that. Okay. A patient is to use 90 units of insulin once daily. So what's the RX?
90 units of insulin.
Any units. The insulin has a concentration of 300 units per ml. So it's not 100 units per ml this time. Okay, there was a given specific to that. And is available in 10 ml vials. How many vials The question is how many I like this question. I became Miles. I like this question because it shows up on the PTCB. How many miles? How many vials will the patient need for a 30-day supply? So your final answer will be in number of vials. Class 1, class practice. So you don't use the 100 units per ml because it gave you a specific 300 units per ml. Here.
0.3.
What's next?
And then,
Think about the problem. Read the problem. Once you've done this, what's the next step? I heard people say 10 ml divided by 0.3, correct? But what does that tell you? How long it is? How long will that 10 ml, which is 1 vial, correct? Last. And what is your answer here?
33.33.
33.33 days, right?
Oh,
Let's drop it 33 days. The question was, how many vials do you need for a 30-day supply? The answer should be 1 vial, because that 10 ml vial can last up to 33, so the patient is covered. You see that?
Yes.
You just calculated the day supply, just like the previous problem. Each vial will last the patient 33 days. The question was, how many vials does the patient need in a 30-day supply? There'll be 3 days extra doses. So 1 vial is enough. Okay. Ready for the next topic? Your Roman numeral question. The bulk of this final is going to be the next topic, which is flow rate and drip rate. You get this problem? No. Ready? I'm going to start new topic, flow rate and drip rate. Did you understand this problem?
Yeah.
Problem? Okay, those 3 problems I presented to you on insulin usually comes up on the PTCE. Flow rate and drip rate. Interchangeable. The main topic is flow rate. But to be more technical, think about this. Flow is bigger, more volume, right? Than a drip. Okay. So sometimes the question is flow, but it meant drip rate. Okay. What am I talking about? there's a formula that you need to remember when we're talking about for flow rate. Okay, rate is R, okay, V over T, or it can be R equals V over T times C. Either one. Tell you what they mean. R stands for rate. When you say rate, that's speed. How fast? Okay. Think about a faucet. There's a flow there, right? Okay. Rate. Rate. That's speed. When you say V, V stands for volume. So the volume will be in ml. Okay. For flow rate. And time will be hour. It can be H. It can be HR. So the unit for flow rate is ml per hour. How fast it is, how fast is it in ml per hour? So this pertains to IV bag infusion. Okay, IV bag infusion. We have what we call micro drip and macro drip. So if we're talking flow rate, the unit will always be ml per hour flow rate. Okay, let's make that smaller. What do you think will be drip rate? It will be drops per minute. Smaller version of a flow rate is drip rate. Drops per minute. You will receive 2 packets pertaining to flow rate and drip rate. One will say manual calculations of IV. One will say electronic calculations of IV. Now, do we really need to know how to calculate the drops per minute or the flow, the ml per hour? Isn't that a nurse's job? Correct. Well, you get tested on it. Okay. And then there was one time we had our accreditation from ABHES. He's a pharmacist, old school pharmacist too. He said, while he was admitted in the hospital, the nurses couldn't calculate the flow rate that needs to be given to him. So he said, give me a favor if you did the math and give it to the nurse. Like, I know it's an isolated case, but on the PTCE, there are questions that show up about flow rate and drip rate. Okay, let's go back. Miss L, why does the other formula has a C? What does the C mean? C stands for drop factor constant. Right? It will be given. If in the problem you saw a constant or a drop factor constant, use it. It's not there for you to not use it, which means you have to use the formula R equals V over T times C. Is that clear? This usually goes for drip rate. So you only have one formula to remember really, flow rate. V over T is R. R equals V over T. When the C shows up, then V over T times C. I want you to know this. This can be transposed different ways, okay? It's easier to explain once you're holding your worksheet. So let me give you some lecture packets first. This is not created by me. This is created by a previous instructor, but some students find it useful. But you just like always, you can pay attention to the board and to me. That's just a reference. Remember those two formulas, we're gonna get back to that. There's a second one, electronic regulators, ml per hour. So this is your electronic pumps. The first one you got are manually regulated IVs. This one's electronic. That's just a lecture packet. Let's start off with a simple one, which is pump infusions, which will be in ml per hour. Get one and pass. You should see homework for pump infusions, IV calculations. Okay. Don't pay attention to the lecture packet or the handout. Pay attention to this worksheet. We're going to do it on the board. I'm going to do some on the board. But good. Pay attention. It's simple. Just know the formula. R, which stands for rate, equals V over T. That's all you need for this particular worksheet right now. That's it. Okay. So I'm going to do the first one. So only two more. Anybody else? I got 14. I made 14. It's coming out. One for each. It's coming out. Which one is it?
That's one that you had done.
I will erase this, but you got to remember this. We'll get back to this formula, the second one with the C. I've been teaching you all day with my left eye blind. I don't know. Add to my list of doctors to see. Do you have the first order as 2000 ml?
Yes.
Everybody has a worksheet? Okay. 2000 ml. A quarter normal saline. Infusing by pump over 24 hours. What is the flow rate? Remember, put here on the side, R equals V over T, where your V will always be in ml and your T will always be in hour or hours. Isn't it simple? As long as you can identify. Now I can identify that this might be, right? Well, some books will say whole numbers, round down. Some books will say whole number, round up. Okay. I put in here on my notes, whole number, round up should be the final answer. Whole number, round up. I based it on quantity for this sample. Students who are not freshmen, you're probably wondering, does L would happen to the single dose, single day total quantity? You already know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that during tutoring after class for the freshmen. Okay, you already know that. Okay, I will give you worksheets to work on that at home. But I cannot spend another 2 hours on that right now. So freshmen, you are required to attend tutoring today after class. I don't have an interview today. Okay. So our answer here, if you've identified that V is 2000, it's already in ml, you just plug in the numbers. Is this already in hours? Yes. So my answer should be 83 ml per hour. Should get that? Continue. This should be fast. Very easy. Only 10 questions. Make sure everybody turned in their quiz today. They're not yet recorded. So if I don't get it, I'm going to have to put a 0. Okay. Tomorrow, I will take Miss J's class for continuation of math. Passing around quantity to the distance, single dose, single day total quantity. Freshmen, when you show up to tutoring today after class, bring this packet. You staying?
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Who's staying for tutoring? Hands up. We plan for this, right?
Yeah.
The only thing you need to do different here is if this is given in liters, right? And if this is given in minutes. Because flow rate should always be ml per hour. Okay? That's the only extra step you need to do for this calculation. Why? It's straightforward. R equals V over T. But your V must always be in ml and your T must always be in hour. Okay? So if it's in liters, convert that to ml. If it's in minutes, convert that to hour. Ready? Diane? Okay. On my notes, I said here, round up for your final answer. It has to be a whole number. Drop the remainder. Round up meaning we follow the rule of rounding off. 5 and up, add 1. Your next worksheet is 30 questions. That's why I don't want us to spend so much time on this particular one. Ready? Done. Oh, everything, huh? Everything, not just the first page. I did the first one. Everything should be the same. Again, unit must be in ml per hour. If it's in liters, what's our conversion? A liter is 1,000 ml. King Henry died. Unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. Is there something? Let's see hands again. If I have an interview tomorrow at 12, but I still would like to do more tutoring tomorrow. So maybe go take your break for 30 minutes, 12:30, then come back. I should be done with my interview. Do a tutoring so you're ready for class. the last thing I want is for me to be tutoring the data. It adds to your anxiety. So close the books, get you prepared till the day before. Everything. It's always everything, but I always do the last major topic, new topic on the last 2 days of class, right? We were held up a bit because some students, we have 30 new students, didn't get the topics right. And that's why I had to skip the single dose, single day total quantity. Okay. Make sure you do the single dose, single day total quantity if you're not coming to tutoring. Okay. But those who are coming to tutoring, I will go over that during tutoring today. Which means this might be an over 1 hour tutoring. So those who are asking parents, siblings to pick you up, whoever's picking you up, make sure you give them a heads up. It's like a long one. For 5, right? Convert your minutes to hours. How do you do that?
Ratio proportion.
Good. You get the ratio proportion. If 1 hour is 60 minutes, blank, X hour is to what? Whatever's given. Okay, make 30 minutes. Very good. Ratio proportion. Know that if the decibel is 0.25, it doesn't mean it's 25 minutes. Is that clear? Remember my story? Okay. Quarter of an hour is not 25 minutes. Quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. Remember I told you the story about MA student? Okay, there was an MA student who every time the instructor would say, come back 15 after. I mean, what did she say? Quarter after. Yeah. Come back quarter after, she said. Come back quarter after. Come back quarter after. The student kept coming back at 10:25, quarter after. So she kept docking her points on PPS, always late, until she said, I gotta ask her, why does she keep coming back at 10:25? Why do you keep coming back at 25? What's holding you up for 15 minutes? You should come back at 10, a quarter after. Exactly, it's a true story. It is a true story, all right? Quarter after is 15 minutes after the hour. Okay, that's why I said, if your final answer here turns out to be 0.25 of an hour, that means quarter of an hour. It's 15 minutes. It's not 25 minutes. You see that? So this is like 25% of 60 minutes. Clear? Yes? Are you ready? Okay, let's do answers for pump infusions. First one's 83 ml per hour. Number 2. 83 as well, ml per hour. Continue. West. Number 3. 47 ml per hour. Correct. I'll accept H, lowercase h or HR. Okay. Number 4. Manny. 71 ml per hour. Correct. Who got 71? Hands up. Number 5, Jasmine. 91 ml per hour. Correct. Who got that one? Hands up. Okay, good job. Number 6, Sarai. 150 ml per hour. Who got that one? Hands up. Okay. Number 7, Gina. 31 ml per hour. Who got that one? Hands up. Number 8, Ashley, Vanessa. 111 ml per hour. Don't get used to having the unit right there. You might have to write that if it's just black. Okay, is that clear? Okay, number 9, Megan. 167 ml per hour. And number 10, everyone?
52.
52 ml per hour. Who has a question on this one? Here comes the big packet. Calculations, manual IV calculations. I'm going to have to erase this and talk about the next formula. R equals B over T times C. Here comes your drip rate. This is when it gets a little bit confusing. But if you know how to identify your numbers, you should not get lost. I am going to do number 1, number 11, and number 21 for a reason. Okay. This one, manual IV calculations. Drip rate. I told you there's another formula for flow rate / drip rate, and that's R equals B over T times C, where V still remains as volume, T still remains as time, and C is your drop factor constant, and R is your flow rate. Okay. On tests, they sometimes interchange flow rate and drip rate because the major topic is flow rate. So you'll probably ask me, Ms. L, why is the question flow rate, but the final answer is in drops per minute? Okay, because it's interchangeable. Okay. But you have to focus on this formula. Okay. You have to be able to identify what is your V, what is your T, and what is your C. Okay. In this case, what did I say the R will be? The final answer will be in drops. GTT came from the Latin word gota, in Spanish, gota, which means drops. Drops per minute, which means your V should be in drops. Your T should be in minutes. What's the drop factor constant go? What did you notice on the problem? It's actually in
milliliters.
Drops per ml. Right. Focus on this. Question number 1 says, what is the flow rate? Meaning you're asked of the R. Correct? So you have to use this formula. Do you agree that this formula is exactly the same as this?
No. Yeah.
Who says yes? I'm going to send you back to high school if you can't answer this question. Who says yes? What's our rule in fractions, multiplying fractions? Multiply all numerators, multiply all denominators. Isn't there an invisible one here? Which means this is exactly the same as this one. Watch it, because I'm going to use that. I'm going to transpose it. See that? V over T times C is exactly the same as VC over T. Yeah? Do you agree? Do you remember now? Okay. The first 10 questions ask here of what is the flow rate? Correct? Correct? Questions 11 to 20. Take note. The question was, how long will it infuse? So what do you think is being asked of you?
Time.
It's time. Correct. How long? Which means if I'm going to transpose this, which I've been doing the last 2 sequences or maybe more, and the student said, I like the way you did that, Ms. Al. Why? Because we're not all over the place plugging in the numbers. If I want to know the time, I can just transpose the formula to RT equals VC, correct? Like that? But I have to leave time on one side, which means I gotta divide both sides by R. That leaves me that how long becomes T equals VC over R. Who understood what I did? Hands up. Because the question was how long. So your answer will be time. You like it? The formula is already there, but stick to the original formula. Okay? Did you notice 11 to 20 is how long question? 21 to 30. The question is, how much will the patient receive? What do you think is the question?
Volume.
Volume, correct. Which means if I'm to transpose the original formula, we go back to RT equals VC. For me to leave the V, which should be the divisor. Divide both sides by T so I can cancel that out, correct? Which gives me RT over C.
I got it now, I got it.
Who understood what I just did?
I just got it.
Okay. Why did I do this? So you're not all over the place.
Think about the one specific variable everywhere.
Yes. Now you have a working formula for each problem. Remember the words. When you hear flow rate, drip rate, or how fast, you're being asked of the R. If you're asked how long will it take to infuse, you're asked of time. If you're asked how much of the drug, you're being asked volume. Yeah. Clear? I just simplified it for you so you're not all over the place. But if you don't understand that, go ahead. Make this your X or make this your X. I just don't function like that. I cannot have my X at the bottom or X on top, right? So I transposed the formula for you. And in this last 3 years, the students said, we like it. It's there. Do you have to memorize this? No, stick to this, right? Or this. Then you can transpose the formula. You don't have to memorize each one once you know how to do this. Now I'm going to do number 1 on the board. Questions? Who understood what I did, transposing? Let me see. It has to be everybody. No? Okay. And you might have some problems if you don't understand because that's elementary and high school, isn't it? Elementary and high school math? The transposition of formulas in the elementary or high school?
It's high school, I think.
High school. That's right.
Well, we're 49 for a reason. Yeah. You in California?
Sad.
Yeah.
I think this is elementary. My son understands me.
Oh, bro, that's bad.
I learned it in elementary. Okay, so, well, did you just understand what I did? I mean, I can't dwell on our school system right now, okay? Because we have 30 minutes and then one more day till final. Okay, so flow rate, remember that formula, remember how to transpose, okay? I just gave you a shortcut so that you can use those in the problem. Number 1, prescription, RX. Watch how I do this, okay? Pretend that I'm your smartest classmate and I'm letting you copy my test paper. This is how I would do it on the test paper itself, okay? Order 2,000 ml of a quarter normal saline with 10,000
Yeah.
units. It's hard, I'm working with one eye today. Heparin. What did I say about heparin? It can't be oral because? Gastric acid destroys it at 750 units per hour, okay? And then the drop factor constant is
20 drops per milliliter.
And then the question is, what's the flow rate? Okay, here's what I'm going to do on my test paper. I'm going to put R equals question mark. Okay, I'm going to do a V here, which is 2000, and I'll put the ml to make sure that I'm using the correct unit, correct? Okay, and then I see that I have a C. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I have a C, 20 drops per ml. What else do I have?
You have a 10,000 units.
I have a 10,000 units of heparin. And what else do I have? I have a 750 units per hour. It's hard to identify, correct? Man, this is so hard to identify. Let's go back to the formula. R equals V over T times C. I'll just attach that there. It's easier to understand. Is that clear? Okay, but there's something missing. So if I have a V and I have a C, I still don't have a time, correct? Technically, I don't have a time, but there are two numbers I can use to figure out the time. And it's as simple as ratio and proportion, which is if there are 750 units infusing per hour, how long will 10,000 units infuse in terms of hour? You see that? I just calculated a time based on the other two numbers that are given.
Hold on.
What's my time now? So I can put in a time here before I can proceed.
It's going to be 13.33.
Very good. 13.33 hours. I don't have to convert this at this point because I can use it as it is, correct? Now let's plug in the numbers. What's my V?
V is going to be 2,000.
2,000 ml. What's my C? 20 drops per ml. And what's my T?
13.33.
13.33H. Watch me how this is going to end up with a flow rate unit. This is ml in numerator, cancel. This is ml in denominator, cancel, right? What was I left with? Drops per hour. How do I simplify this faster so it's drops per minute? I can just convert my 13.33H, 1 hour is to 60 minutes before I plug it in there. You see that? What is that? Is it 800? Minutes. It's going to be minutes now. Yes. Okay. Now, did you see what I was left with? Drops and minutes. Did you see that? Now proceed. 2,000 times 20, that's 40,000, correct? Divided by 800 gives you 50. So what is my R? 50 drops per minute. Questions 1 to 10 will be similar. If you know the steps I just did, if you took note of that, it's repeatable. Right? Why did I erase my hour again? Because the R should be in what?
Drops per minute.
Drops per minute. Okay. So once you got here, you can convert it right away to minutes. Yes, Mark.
Can you go back to the, I think a big part of the whole equation is on the left side and the bookshelf.
Come over here.
Because I missed like the whole conversion.
Okay. Remember, your formula is V over T times C. I just simplified it by putting the C close to the V because it's multiplication anyway, right? Okay. So I've identified which is which. I identified that volume is 2000 ml. I've identified that my C is 20 drops per ml. It's right there. And then my time, I don't have a time, but I have two numbers that I can use, right? 10,000 units, 700 units per hour. So if I'm going to use ratio and proportion, I can get 13.33 hours as a time. If I plug this in, it will come up as drops per hour, right? So before I plug it in, I should convert my hours to minutes so that I can end up with drops per minute.
So I got to the 800 minutes part?
Yes.
But how do I, because I had 20 drops, how do I guess, like transpose
2,000 times 20 divided by 800. You gotta go back to the formula. Because it's gonna be V over C times C, right? 1 to 10 is exactly the same. I'm not gonna go over everything. This is your homework. 11 now, flip. Freshmen, the seniors also have this as a new topic, just so you know. It's not everybody. So it's everybody now who haven't gone over this. This is the new topic. Okay. So all of you are learning this topic right now, flow rate and drip rate at the same time. No one is ahead of the game except for the seniors took their exit exam. So kind of had it as a crash lesson. This is the only time they're going over it in class. Number 11. A big portion of word problems is comprehension. You have to understand what's being asked of you. So you're not guessing the numbers and just plugging it in, okay? Numbers 11 to 20 will have the question, how long will it take to infuse? Which means, what's being asked?
Time.
Correct. How long will it take to infuse? So your answer is either in hours or minutes or hours and minutes. In this case, I want all your answers to be in hours and minutes. So I know that you know how to calculate the hours and minutes. First problem. If you have 100 ml bag, I'm again your smartest classmate. Okay, I'm going to identify what I can use in the problem. And I'm going to read the problem probably 2 times at least, or until I understand it. Don't just watch me pick the numbers. Understand what's being asked of you. If you have a 100 ml bag that is infusing at a rate of 20 drops per minute, the administration step delivers 10 drops per ml. How long will it take to infuse? So by reading that, if I didn't understand, I should read it again. And if I didn't understand, I should read it again, right? The question was how long? So I'll put T as a question mark right there. So my T is either hours or minutes, or like what I said, I want to see it in hours and minutes. Is that correct? Okay. Do I have other variables? Yes, I see 100 ml. What do I label that?
V.
A V. And then I see something else. What did it say?
The rate of.
There's an R over there. Right? And what does it say? 20 drops per minute. There's another one. It says the administration set delivers 10 drops per ml. What is that? Drops per ml is what?
That's the C.
That's the drop factor constant. It determines how micro drip, macro drip. Homework. Okay. You have to be able to tell me tomorrow what's a macro drip and what's a micro drip.
Okay, homework.
Micro and macro. It's in drops per ml, but which one is micro? Which one is macro? Okay. What does macro tell you? This was a question on the PTCE. Macro means large, micro means
Small.
so macro drip and micro drip. Okay, you have to identify what micro, what macro. Okay, I know the T is missing. To those of you who understood what I did transposing, again, R equals VC over T, correct? I need the time, so this becomes RT equals VC. I need to divide both sides by R, so I'm left with T equals VC over R. Isn't it gonna be easier for me to plug in the numbers? Because I did the formula on the side? Yeah? Yeah. Because if I don't, I'm gonna have to put the 20 here, the 100 here, the 10 here, and I'm gonna have the X at the bottom. So I just did this. Easier, right? So now I can plug in the numbers. My V is in ml already, so I have to put 100 ml. What's my C again?
It's 10 GTT, or 10 drops per minute. Oh, per milliliter, sorry.
Okay. And then what else do I have? An R, correct? Yes. 20. You see how even if it's like a waste of time, it's not really a waste of time putting the units. I always do. You know why? I can see what's missing. Look at this. This is ml in numerator. This is ml in the denominator, which means I can cancel this, correct? This is drops in the numerator and this is drops in the denominator, which means I can cancel it, which means I'm left with minutes, which corresponds to time. Answer? 15 minutes. Correct. 15 minutes. You see that? Questions 11 to 20. Same step. One minute to absorb. I'm guiding you one each problem. Each set, there's 30 questions. This is homework, huh?
Ooh. Ooh.
Jumping to number 21, prescription number 21. The problem said, how much will the patient receive? How much will the patient receive? And again, your smartest student, classmate. Okay. I will read a problem. If I didn't understand, I should read it until I understand the problem. 21, an IV infusing at 45 drops per minute and the drop factor is 20 drops per ml. In 10 hours, how much will the patient receive? I didn't understand that. Do it again. An IV is infusing at 45 drops per minute and the drop factor is 20 drops per ml. In 10 hours, how much will the patient receive? I got the how much. Which means what's missing? Volume. I'll put that right away on my test paper. Yeah, I'm taking it like I'm taking the test as a student. You see that? I always put myself in your shoes. Okay, next one. I have some things I can work with here. It says that I have a drop factor, which is my C, correct?
Yeah.
What is that?
20 drops per milliliter.
All I need to do is to copy it and label it correctly. Yeah. What else is there?
45 drops per minute as a
What
rate.
is that?
Rate.
Drops per minute. Sounds like speed, right? How fast it will flow or it will drip. That's your rate. And then there's another one I can see. What is it?
10 hours.
Ooh, la, la. Job. The drop factor represents the drop factor constant, which is C. You label this correctly, and you know how to plug in the numbers, you won't go wrong. Or if you should move. I know I keep
I'm just making sure.
in the show. Yeah? Now this time I want to make it easy on you. I gotta be so that it's not all over the place, right? Let's do it again. Did I memorize this formulas? No, I only know this. Right? RT equals BC. What do I need? A B. So I need to divide both sides by C. So I can be left with B equals RT over C. I just made your life easy, right? By putting the X on the left side. See that? Can I plug in the numbers? You know why I like transposing? Because after that, I just plug in the numbers. What's my R? You said 45. Copy everything, huh? It's not a waste of time, I'm telling you. 45 drops per minute. What else? What's my T?
10 hours.
Okay, that alone, I figured it out right away. It's not going to cancel out. Did you see? So what do I do here?
Times 60.
1 hour is 60 minutes. So what is it? What should I plug in here? Very good. 600 minutes. Now I know that I can cancel the minutes, right? Okay. But I still have a denominator to use. What's the C? 20 drops per milliliters. Can I cancel something? What was I left with?
Milliliters.
Can I answer the problem? Oh yeah, good. I'll have movement. Yeah. In the old days, when I teach this, transposing it, students are lost. They don't like it. And then the last 3-4 years, students like that I transpose it first. Because you find the X right away, right? You just have to understand how transposition works, okay? And if you didn't learn that in high school, then that is a problem, or elementary, that is a problem. That's why I went slow, okay? What's the answer here? X will be 1,000. We got 1,350 ml. Hands up. You see, writing the units is not a waste of time.
Oh, I see what I did wrong. Yeah.
It tells you right off the bat, right? What you can't cancel, what can be left. It tells you, yes, you're on the right track because you were left with ml.
Yeah.
Or no, you're wrong because you were left with minutes and you're asked a volume. Yeah. Or, hey, stop, you cannot cancel because it's in hours, so convert it first. See that? Okay. 30 questions, your homework, very good practice. Your final exam is 80% flow rate and drip rate. We still have one more topic, overfill. There's one question on overfill on your final exam, which is related to this. That's why I'm not opposed to it. Okay. But I'll pause right. Okay. Continue working on your worksheets. You got work to do, things to do. That's your final. You're going to convert this to hours and minutes. It can be 1 or 1, 2. It has to be, how much is that in hours and minutes? Yes. Combined hours and minutes. I'm gonna give you guys 3 minutes break, so we can start at 12:15. Probably finish it. That's just my estimate with our rate, right?
What number are you at?
That one's 5.
Somebody didn't get confusion by making regulated IVs or drip rate drops per minute.
Yes. It's 1 hour.
But if you paid attention to what I did, it's just something nice to have.
And then that you divide that by 60.
This is Megan, so this, I was like, she like trying to multiply.
Oh, okay. There should be 14.
No, plus multiply is X. So
Hold on.
so you multiply these two.
This one, the one that says infusion by manually regulated IVs or drip rate in drops per minute.
Over 60.
They're missing. They're
And
missing one.
dilution.
So you should have one electronic and one manual. This packet was created by a previous instructor. If you didn't understand the way I did it on the board, maybe you should read this. Maybe you'll understand it this way.
0.55.
Anyone is welcome to stay for tutoring, not only freshmen, but I'm making it mandatory for freshmen.
50 divided by 0.55.
I don't have interview today, but tomorrow I do. So make sure you're here today for tutoring. Bye.